Hey everybody, Real with Wes coming at you a little late here today, but just make sure I come to you guys daily. Schedule's a little here and there, so sometimes it may be earlier in the day, sometimes it may be a little later in the day, but no, I'll come to you Monday through Friday with encouragement, with some practical truths, and just some practical things to keep building up your faith, stay focused on track, and just keep growing as an individual in life. This week I'm going to talk about His will. Now, we start talking about the will of God, it could go a million different ways. So stick with me, and I'm going to center up mostly on one thing all week long and kind of break it down some steps here. But these are going to be some practical things to make life easier. These are some things I'm learning in my life and applying in my life and growing in myself. So I just want to pass them on to you. So let's jump right into this thing. James chapter 4, verse 13. And we'll just read it here through verse 16. It says, look here, you who say today or tomorrow we are going to a certain town and will stay there a year. We will do business there and make a profit. Verse 14 says, how do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? Your life is like the morning fog. It's here a little while and then it's gone. What you ought to say is, if the Lord wants us to, we will live and do this or that. Otherwise, you are boasting about your own plans, and such boasting is evil, or twisted. Evil is a little bit of a strong word, is what it is. But you get the point when I say that. So what am I going with His will? You see right there, the first thing is there's the pride of our own will. And that's what I want you to catch more than the exact wording is the heart behind it. Is us thinking, hey, I got this tomorrow. Hey, I can do this. Hey, I'm going to make this plan. I'm going to make this plan. I'm going to do that. And it's a lot of self-driven. And many of the times, especially in our traditional teaching, we're taught to be more self-willed more than we realize. We call it God, but it's normally us making the initiative and causing God to follow us, when it should be really God making that initiative and us following Him. That's harder than you think at many times. It's easy to operate in self-will. So what do we have to do? We have to humble ourselves to admit that our will and our plans, as though we may make them, is always subject to Him and subject to change, because we can't see into tomorrow. We have to admit the fact, I don't know what's going to come tomorrow. So I'm going to make these plans knowing they can be easily subject to change. Hope you catch that. I'm going to make these plans, but I know they can easily be subject to change because I don't know what's around the bend. I don't know what it is. And it's easy to say, well, God told me this. And that right there is really actually an immature way of operating in life when you're like, God told me this. No, what it's trying to get you to say is, I believe God is leading me in this direction, but I know it can be wrong because I'm human. There's an arrogance in when you're saying, God said, and God told me this, and I know beyond any certainty, and this and that. There's an edge of that. Now, we can be sure. We can be sure of things with God, but no, we're still feeling through it. We'll pick up the direction of God, and we'll be sure to step in that, but we're human. So we're always in this awareness that we could be wrong. And it's not to be uncertain or scared or anything like that. It's to be humble, not to be arrogant. And it's realizing our own self-will can be destructive. And so we're going to go through this week. I'm going to break down piece by piece because really it's about His will. And it's about giving our lives over to His will. Because when we're not following His will, we're operating in our will, which really ultimately is rooted in self-centeredness. It's my will. It's what I want. And see, that's the trap and the danger I want to point out to you when it's all about our will. Our will has self all in it. And our will is self-serving. And that is opposed to really God's view of God is, one, He has our best interest at heart, but it's not just about us. See, when we live in self, there's this toxic mindset that comes with it that's very destructive to ourselves, and we don't even realize it, and destructive to those around us, and can cause us to live in continuous chaos in life, even when everything's going good around us. So what do you have to say? You know what, my will, God, I got it, but it's about your will, and I'm going to submit to that today because you know better than I do. I can be divisive. I can be destructive. I can be toxic. I can be all these things. But when I submit to your will, I can be something completely different. And I can be someone who's completely different because you're working in me now instead of me trying to do it up myself. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. But today, submit to God's will and come to this place of saying, my will, my way isn't the way to work in life, isn't the way to approach things in life. It's about his will, because his way is the better way. All right, we'll get into this all week long. Stick with me. I'll catch you tomorrow.